Hey, it's Vicky, and today I'm coming at you with a kind of a different, fun little video, maybe series that I was thinking about doing this month on the channel because many of you know Stephen King is one of my favorite authors, and it just so happens that this month, on the 21st, I believe, is his 75th birthday, which is kind of like a big milestone birthday, right? So because Stephen King is turning 75 this month, I thought it would be fun to do a couple of Stephen King themed videos. So this is the first one, and I'm going to be doing the Stephen King book tag, and this tag was created by Tamika's Library. I will link the video down below, and there are a handful of questions, so let's dive in. Question one is to name your favorite Stephen King book or a Stephen King book that you want to start with if you have never read Stephen King. So for me, this is not a surprise to anyone, but it is my favorite Stephen King book. Though it is very large, I loved the coming of age elements in this. I loved the horror elements in this. Pennywise is a creepy dude. So I just loved all of it. The nostalgia for childhood, all of it. The friend group, fighting evil, the whole thing was just amazing. I read this many, many years ago, and it still is my favorite. Question two is, what's kind of fun about this tag too is every question, they use a Stephen King book title as part of the question, but you don't have to do all Stephen King books to answer. I sure did not. So anyways, question two is nightmares and dreamscapes. Name a book that gave you nightmares or kept you up late at night. And for that, I decided to go with The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I couldn't put this book down. When I started reading it, I was just so addicted and I just could not put it down until I finished it. And I loved there were definitely some creepy, just icky horror moments that I'm not going to say exactly what they were because that would be spoilery, but they gave me the creeps, and I may have had bad dreams because of what the creepy things were is something that I am myself scared and grossed out by. That's all I'll say. Question three, Joyland. Name a book that made you happy. The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune made me very happy. I just loved the quirkiness of the characters. I loved all of the kids in this book and their kind of special abilities. And I loved the main character, Linus. I really enjoyed him, and there was also a bit of a love story in here, a bit of a romance, which I don't normally like. But this one, just the way that it slowly built up and it just felt very natural. I loved it. I left this book just feeling very hopeful and just very happy. Question four, Misery. Name a book that made you sad. And this book, I actually just read it last month. And it, like I said in my review of this book, this is the saddest book I have read since A Little Life. And A Little Life is pretty damn sad. But this one, The Pearl That Broke Its Shell by Nadia Hashimi, was super, super depressing. And because it's one of those books where all of the characters, your main characters that you're rooting for, like every bad thing that could happen to them happens to them. And every time you think that they've had enough and something good is going to happen, you're wrong. So yeah, this book is super, super sad. Question five, Cujo. Name your favorite animal companion. And I'm gonna go with Kirby from A Lots Away. He was a ghost dog who was basically A Lots Away's best friend in this book. And he was just so cute, and I am a dog person. So anytime that there's a dog sidekick or character in a book, I usually love it. This was no different, but there was something about him being a ghost dog that also just made it really interesting and cute and fun, and he was the best. I loved it. Question six, Dr. Sleep. Name a book that bored you to death or made you fall asleep. Please tell me I'm not alone here when I had to read this in high school, this is Walden, by the way, Henry David Thoreau. This book was the driest, most boring book I have ever read. The nature writing, I usually can get down with nature writing, but this, I was just like, it went on and on and on, and I just was not feeling it. I only finished this book because I had to for English class. Otherwise, no way. Question 7, The Eyes of the Dragon. Name your favorite book, series, or series with dragons in it. So I'm going with A Song of Ice and Fire because the dragons in this are just so badass, and I just really enjoyed them. Question 8 is 4 Past Midnight. Name a book you stayed up way too late trying to finish. I'm going back to it because when I read this book, I mean, it's a very big book, and I got through it so quickly because I could not put it down. I would stay up way past my bedtime to read it, and then I would wake up in the morning, and because it was summertime when I read this, I would pick it up because I was in high school, so I had nothing going on. And so I would wake up and I would just start reading again. So I got through it very quickly because it was very addicting, fabulous. But yeah, I lost a lot of sleep over this book. Question 9, End of Watch. Name your favorite last book in a series. And I'm gonna go with the Stephen King book because I absolutely loved the way that the Dark Tower series ended. Just the way everything was kind of coming together. It was getting intense. And the way that this whole series ended made me want to go right back to book 1 and reread it. Did I? No. But I definitely want to reread this series. But this book really just had me on my toes the entire time. Question 10 is The Outsider. Name your most unpopular opinion that makes you feel like an outsider. And that is that I don't so much enjoy Jane Austen. And specifically Pride and Prejudice. I know everybody loves that book and gushes about that book. It didn't really do it for me. It was a 2-star read. I haven't given Jane Austen a shot since, but I kind of want to just because I feel bad that I read one of her books and was like, no, but so I might give her another shot. I'd like to give her another shot, but Pride and Prejudice to me was just, it was just boring. I just didn't like it, and yeah. Question 11, Rage. Name a book you rage quit or DNF'd, and that has to go to The Dinner by Herman Koch. I think that's how you say the last name. I hated that book so much, and my cat's about to knock my books over. Don't knock them over, Kiki. Come on. I DNF'd that book because I hated it so much. I hated every single character. I thought they were all terrible. I didn't care what happened because the whole premise of that book was like these 2 couples were meeting for dinner to talk about something that their 2 sons did that was really awful, and they're like hashing it out. And I was just like, I don't even care what they did. They're all horrible. I hate everyone, and I hate this book, and I DNF'd it and got rid of it. It is no longer in my house. Question 12 is Different Seasons. Name your favorite seasonal book. And I'm gonna go with a classic that I love to read at Christmas time. Even though it's not really a Christmas book, the beginning of it takes place at Christmas, but for some reason, I love reading this book at Christmas time, and that is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This is one of my favorite classics, and anytime I have reread it, I always reread it at Christmas time. I don't know why, because like I said, it's not really a Christmas book, but it just gives me that sort of like cozy family vibes, and so I always read it then. Question 13 is Finders Keepers. Name your most prized, rare, expensive book you own. And I don't really have anything for this one because I don't really collect like signed editions or first editions or anything like that. So I don't have anything for this. All of my books are just like your basic bought them at a bookstore or bought them at a library sale. They're nothing special. Question 14 is later. Name a book you keep putting off and telling yourself that you'll get to later. And for this, I decided to go with the book that has been on my shelves probably the longest, my TBR shelf, because I hauled this book back in 2017. I looked it up because for those of you that don't know, I do book haul revisits here on my channel, and of the ones that I haven't read, I have kind of a list going, and I note when I hauled them. And the book that I hauled in 2017 and still haven't read, mind you, it's now been 5 years later, is The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. I still want to read this book. It still sounds good. It's about the Vietnam War, and I believe the effects that the war had on the soldiers and things. And so it's definitely one that I want to read because I haven't read very many books about Vietnam. So I still want to read this, but yeah, it's been on my shelf for 5 years. Like, what am I doing? Question 15 is desperation. Name a new release that you're desperate to get your hands on. And the thing is, if I had filmed this yesterday, I would not have had this book in my hands. But because I filmed it today, I have it now. And it's Stephen King's new release, Fairy Tale. And isn't it lovely? I just love this cover. I love the font. I love the blue and like the orange contrast. This winding staircase, all of it. This is a beautiful cover, and this is an anticipated release for me. It's one that I cannot wait to read. Hopefully I read it very, very soon. And yeah, like I said, I just got it yesterday. It came at like 7 o'clock last night, so very exciting. And then the last one is just to tag your fellow constant readers. So I'm basically just opening it up to everybody who's watching this. If you want to do this tag, please do it. Even if you've never read Stephen King before and maybe you want to, or the questions just sound interesting to you, feel free to do this tag. All right, guys, so that is it. That is the Stephen King book tag. Ooh, I just dropped my phone. And like I said, I'm hoping to do a couple more Stephen King themed videos this month, just because, I don't know, I felt like I wanted to celebrate Stephen King. He has a new book out. He's turning 75. He's one of my favorite authors, so why not? So yeah, let me know down below how you would answer some of these questions. And let me know if you have a favorite Stephen King book. I would love to hear about that. And that's it. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will talk with you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.